All right, so this is section 8.1, part 1. So you'll need to pause your video and write down this vocab word for linear equation. So starting off with number 1, we are going to graph each equation and tell whether or not it is linear. So we are going to create an XY chart. So we're going to use the same numbers on our XY chart over and over again, okay? So we're going to create an XY chart, and I set it up like this. And it's just a vertical chart. And we're going to put these numbers in there. So we're going to put -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And then we're going to go down from there and start solving. Okay, so here's how we solve these. And I'm not saying you have to show this every single time, but I'm showing you this so you know where I get these numbers from. And you've done this before. This is not the first time you've done this. So for the first number, -2, we're going to plug that right here for x. So we're going to have y equals 3 parentheses -2 minus 4. And solve for that. So 3 times -2 minus 4. Yes, you've done this before. So 3 times -2 would be what? -6 minus 4. -10. Okay, so then we're going to calculate -1. So y equals 3 parentheses -1 minus 4. And you can put it in your calculator just like that, like 3 parentheses -1 parentheses minus 4, if you want. -7. Okay, then y equals 3 parentheses 0 minus 4. 0 minus 4. -4. Y equals 3 times 1 minus 4.
-1.
And 3 times 2 minus 4 would be +2. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to graph these numbers. So if you remember when you're graphing, you always start out right here at the origin, 0, 0, every time. And then you go left or right first, and then you go up or down. So just a refresher, if your number is positive, you were either going right or you were going up. If your number is negative, you are either going left or you're going down. Okay, so we go left, right first, and then up, down. So the first one has -10. That one's going to be pretty far off of our graph because our graph only goes to 5. So we're going to skip that one for now. So let's look at the next one, -1, -7. So that tells me I have to go left 1 and down 7. So I'm just going to kind of estimate, like this would be 5, 6, 7 would be right there. And then next we would have 0, -4. So I'm not going to go left or right, but I have to go down 4. So I'm going to come back to the origin and go down 4.
Am I just gonna like randomly place the bottom one off the chart?
Well, you're estimating. You just counted down 3 more times. Okay, and then 1, -1. So am I going left or right? Right, and then what?
Down 1.
Right 1, down 1. And then 2, 2. Which directions am I going?
Left.
+2, +2.
Right.
Go right.
2.
Right up. Right 2, up 2. and then connect them with a line, and you want to include arrows at the end of your line because your line technically goes on forever.
And that's what, please.
Okay. Let's look at number 2. Oh, also, we need to say whether or not this is linear. So is this problem linear? Yes, linear means straight line. So yes, this is linear. Okay, let's look at number 2. So we're gonna go through the same process, and we're gonna use those same numbers for our XY chart. So -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so I'm gonna plug those in. So y equals 3 parentheses -2 minus 1. -7. Y equals 3 parentheses -1 minus 1. Y equals 3 parentheses 0 minus 1. -1. Y equals 3 parentheses 1 minus 1.
2.
Okay. And y equals 3 times 2 minus 1. Okay, so then we're going to graph that. So again, -7 is off the chart, you need to estimate it. So -2 would be left 2 down 7. And then -1, -4. So we would do what? So they're both negative.
Left down.
Left and down. So left 1, down 4. And then 0, -1. What would we do?
Put on,
Down 1. 1, 2. Right 1 up 2. 2, 5. Right 2 up 5. And then we're gonna connect it. And up arrows at each end. And is this a straight line? Yes. So this is linear. Okay. Number 3. So we're gonna use those same numbers. So -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And we're going to plug it in. So this time we are taking x and squaring it. So you need to make sure you put parentheses around it. Otherwise your calculator will not give you the correct answer. So parentheses, -2, parentheses squared.
4.
Okay, +4. And then -1 squared.
1.
and 0 squared. 0, and then 1 squared.
One.
Is positive 1, and then 2 squared. Is positive 4. Okay, so then we're going to graph these. So, -2, 4, I have to go left 2, up 4, and put a point. -1, 1, I have to go left 1, up 1, 0, 0. And then +1, I go right 1, up 1. And then 2, 4, I have to go right 2, up 4. So notice this did not make a straight line like the one before.
Speaking of, they didn't make a shape.
So it looks like it makes a V. It technically makes a U, and you'll learn more about that in algebra. So this is making a U.
So, but it makes 2 straight lines.
No, these curve right here. So this is not nonlinear.
Just a little bit of an angle. A little bit of an angle.
So this is not linear. This does not make a linear line.
But it's really bad.
Okay. So let's look at the next one, number 4. So it looks very similar to number 3. We're going to use that same XY chart. And we are going to plug it into the calculator. So y equals negative parentheses -2 squared. So you need to plug it into your calculator just like that, like negative parentheses, -2 parentheses, and then the square button.
-4.
That's -4. Okay, then plug in -1. So negative parentheses, -1 parentheses squared. And you get negative, it should be -1. And then if you plug in 0,
Just
it is 0. Okay, now try it with +1. So negative parentheses, +1 squared. So I see several people right now that haven't even touched their calculator.
-1.
And you're just hanging out waiting for other people to do it for you. And negative parentheses, +2 squared is -4. Okay, so we're gonna graph this. So -2, -4, you're gonna go left and then down. And then you're gonna go left and down again for -1, -1. And then for 1, -1, you're gonna go right and down. Okay, so again, this is non-linear because this did not make a straight line. It's orange.
This one.
Okay, number 5, we're actually going to change this. And I want you to cross this out. And I want you to put y equals 3. Y equals 3. So you're gonna have some graphs like this on your homework, y equals 3. And we're actually gonna do this one, we're gonna create our own XY chart, or just our own XY axis right here underneath y equals 3. Just, you don't have to put all the grid lines, just put your X and Y axis, and that's it. Okay, so for a y equals 3 graph, or a y equals anything, this is going to be a horizontal line. So I want you to write horizontal on there. This is gonna equal a horizontal line. So for y equals 3, this is going to be a horizontal line at 3. So you're gonna go up 1, 2, 3, and you're gonna have a horizontal line at 3.
How come you just made a whole nother chart?
Because I'm gonna put something else on this chart.
Oh.
So, whenever you see a graph like y equals something, y equals 5, y equals 3, y equals -2, it doesn't matter what the number is. You do not have to create an XY chart. It is just a horizontal line at that number. Okay? So same thing goes with an x equals something. So I want you to add this to the right on number 5. You now have a blank graph there. So if you see like x equals 2, this is going to be a vertical line at 2. So you don't have to create an XY chart. You just go to whatever that number is and create a vertical line. So +2 would be right 2, and you're going to create a vertical line going through +2. So you don't have to make an XY chart. These are the simplest graphs you're going to do because you don't have to do an XY chart. Okay. I want you guys to go through and try number 6. So you are going to be using that same XY chart. -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And I'll help you plug in the first one. So y equals negative, parentheses, -2, parentheses, because you have a negative in front of your x right there, so you're gonna have a double negative, +3. So what would negative, parentheses, -2 equal? What's a double negative? Positive, so +2 + 3 would be 5. So then I want you to go through and figure out the other 4 numbers. So you'll need to pause your video.
Your video is so cute.
Okay, so when you get through your numbers, if you plug in -1, what did you end up getting? +4, 0, 3, 1. Well, you get -1 + 3, which is 2, and then 2, you would get 1. So if I go through and graph this, and then I draw a straight line through it with arrows because it goes on forever. And then is this linear?
Yes.
Yes, this is linear. Okay. So this would be linear because this is a straight line. So for your assignments, I want you to label this 341 part 1. And you're actually going to have several graphs on this. You're gonna get 1.5 pieces of graph paper for this. 1.5 pieces of graph paper.